Hello, and welcome to Hawk Mountain Sanctuary's first Stay at Home speaker series. Today's program is Conserving Migrating Raptors in Colombia, New Raptor Count Site, Education and Inspiration with Esther Vallejo, a former Hawk Mountain International Conservation Science Trainee from autumn 2019.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for inviting me.
Our pleasure. My name is Jamie Dawson, and I'm the Director of Education at Hawk Mountain Sanctuary. Joining me is Dr. Lori Goodrich, Hawk Mountain's Director of Conservation Science.
Hi, folks.
We are so happy that everyone is able to join us today. Hawk Mountain is a private nonprofit, and membership is the lifeblood of our organization. To all of our members, thank you so much for your continued support. If you're joining us today and you're not a member, we hope that you consider becoming one in the future. Hawk Mountain hopes that everyone remains healthy and safe during this time of COVID crisis. And we are so excited to offer our community a variety of free virtual programming. As always, Hawk Mountain welcomes and greatly appreciates any donations. Just so everyone is aware, today's program is being recorded, and the video will then be posted on Hawk Mountain's YouTube channel as a continued accessible resource. We will also have directions on our website as to how to access our webinar videos on YouTube. At any time throughout today's program, viewers are able to submit questions through the Q&A feature at the bottom of your screen on the Zoom platform. We've designated time at the end of the presentation to take questions from the audience. We are so excited that Esther Vallejo is joining us today live all the way from Colombia at the very site of her new Raptor Count Site. I'd love to share a little bit of Esther's background and experience with our viewers. Esther is a biologist from the Universidad del Valle with experience in wildlife management, conservation, consulting, and environmental education with a focus on birds. Esther has initiated a new Raptor Count Site in Colombia and serves as the project coordinator for Conservation de Raptors Migratorias Colombia, or in English, Conserving Migrating Raptors Colombia. Esther, how did you get so interested in raptor conservation?
Well, everything began when I went as a count assistant in Veracruz River of Raptors. So that was a really huge new world for me. So I really liked it, like all the migration and raptors. So I was really interested to continue with raptor migration. Yeah.
Wonderful. Esther, what experiences at Hawk Mountain during your traineeship have helped you the most with your current and very important work?
Well, all my experience in Hawk Mountain was really special, but I think the most helped me with this was maybe to be able to see the model of Hawk Mountain, how you're able to do this project works in the years. You have a lot of years working in migration and conservation. So be able to be there, seeing all how you do the things. That was the principal part, like how do you join like conservation, education, and science. So yeah, that's what I try to do right now.
Thank you. I think everyone is so excited to learn more details about this amazing endeavor you are working on. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Esther, for your presentation.
Okay, thank you. Well, first of all, I would like to tell you about the count for the last hour. So it was 4 turkey vultures, 112 broadwing hawks, 850 swinesons, and 1 peregrine falcon. So yeah, okay, I'm gonna share my screen right now. Can you see my screen? Okay, great. So I'm going to show you a little background of this project and the updates of the first month that we've been working here. first of all, I would like to start with the Mesoamerican Land Corridor because this is the most important raptor migration flyway in the Americas. It's right here, if you can see. And it's really important because more than 5 million of birds of prey migrate from North America into Central and South America using this corridor. In Colombia, that is right here, it's a really strategic place because, as you can see, this is the sole point of entry into South America in this migration. So, what do we know about migration in Colombia? Almost all the information is really anecdotic, but we do have some research from the northwest of Colombia. The first two were in the south of Antioquia. They found around 55,000 birds per season. And the third one, that is the most recent one, really close to the border with Panama, they found around 400,000 birds per season. So we have a really recent research of this year, actually, of Cardenas et al. And they found that this place, like the northwest of Colombia, has a bottleneck effect. So it's really important place for all kind of migratory birds. So in these studies, they found that the most abundant species were turkey vulture, broad-winged hawk, and Swainson's hawk. We can also find different species of raptors like falcons, kites, etc. Despite the efforts of these researchers and the importance of the region for the migrants, Colombia remains without a counting site that will carry out continuous monitoring and education. So that's one of the reasons why we are doing this right now. And the second reason is this one, because Colombia harbors some of the top human threats to raptors, including habitat degradation, habitat loss, and environmental contaminants, and direct persecution, including hunting. And we're going to focus in hunting because since 1948, thousands of Swainsons and broad-winged hawks have been shot in Colombia. All this is happening in the spring, in the Lenten season. So this is happening because in this moment of the year, all the migration is coming from the south. So local farmers believe that fat has curative powers. And also in this time of the year, for religious people, they think that they cannot eat beef. So they try to replace this beef for another source of meat like fish. But in this region in particular, they have all this migration coming, and in one point of the story, they start to eat raptors. And also the hunters compete to know who can kill more. So just for bragging. So all this is happening in a really important place. This is the region of Tolima, the department of Tolima, where we can find an important place of roosting site of Swainsons and broad-winged hawks. But we don't know the number of individuals using the roosting areas, nor even the individuals using the corridor. And this is because there's no scientific assessment of migration in the region to date. There's a lot of different organizations trying to stop the killing, the hunting, but despite the efforts, the shooting of raptors persists every spring. And actually hunting is taking place now in new regions of the Department of Tolima. So that's why I created this project, and the goals are train the locals, identify 2 counting sites, explore the roosting sites, strain education, and promote tourism. So the first one, well, first of all, why 2 counting sites? This is because, well, as I already mentioned, this area of the northwest of Colombia is a really important place, a really strategic place. So that's why we want to explore in the autumn the area of Urabá. For the spring, we wanted to work in Ibagué because this is the area where all the hunting is happening. So I would like to mention that this is the very first official count of raptor migration in this area of Colombia. So this is the first place where we started. So you already know where is Colombia and where is Tolima. Here is located Ibagué. That is the capital of Tolima. So this is the city. And the county side is right here in the yellow star. It's in the southeast of the city. And it's located in Hacienda El Escobal. This is a company that has a lot of different crops, has rice, sugarcane, corn, etc. And they're really interested to start to work with birds, be a more friendly place for birds. So they were really happy to have us in their lands. So yeah, the count team is composed for Alfredo, Elaida, Irving, and myself. The three of them are coming from Veracruz River of Raptors. This is a really special place because this is the place where I get in touch with the migration and raptors. So this counting side is the most, with the migration, the bigger migration in the world. So they have a lot of experience in migration and counting. So they came here to help us with the count because we don't have a counting site here. There's not a lot of people here that knows about raptor migration or raptor count. So that's why they're here. And thinking in that, that's why we create a workshop, and we did it like in two different parts, like a theory and practice. So we did this in the Universidad de Ibagué. So they were able to learn about Raptor ID, protocols of data collection, etc. So after that, we did a little practice in the campus of the university. But after that, the real practice came because the trained people went to the counting site and they participate in the official count. So they were guided expert counters, and everything was great till the coronavirus came and we couldn't continue in the counting site. So they were really sad about it. So yesterday we started Zoom meetings. We're going to do a series of Zoom meetings with them and to try to encourage them to continue practicing and looking through their windows and balconies, wherever they can do it, and to follow with the identification. And yeah, well, this has been a really good experience for me because we could find a lot of people really interested in raptors and continue with this kind of work in conservation. So about the counting and data collection, as I already told you, everything was in the Hacienda El Escobal. We built this little structure to see the migration. We had an amazing view, but then again, the coronavirus came, so we moved to our balcony. And right now we're here counting in the balcony. As you can see, there's a little lake next to the counting site. Well, I don't know if you can see it here. We're really close to the counting site. And also we live in a 10th floor, so we have this amazing view, and that's why we're able to continue with the counts. So here's the results. We have 8 species. The most abundant one till the moment is broad-winged hawk, followed by Swainson's hawk, and finally swallow-tailed kite. As you can see, we also had osprey, Mississippi kite, kestrel, peregrine falcon, and turkey vulture. And here's the result. I'm going to show you this little video of a vortex of Swainson's and broadwings.
Wow.
And okay, so here's the number. Wait for it. We already have more than 400,000 individuals till the moment. So this is amazing for me. I wasn't expecting this because I was thinking in the numbers of the northwest of Colombia, where they also had the migration of turkey vultures. And yeah, well, this is amazing. I'm really happy with this. And also I have another video to show you a little more closer view of Swainson's and broadwings. And you can hear the clicking. Okay, so about the roosting site monitoring. Well, the idea was to identify location and roosting and shooting sites. But with the emergency, we are not able to move at all. So, but something interesting was that we started to see some individuals landing really close to this area. So I wanted to point out that there's a place that is called Conserving Canyon. That is a place near to the city in the northwest. In this area, well, the people here relate the migration raptors and this Conserving Canyon. But what we've been noticed is that the birds are roosting in any place. Like we're really close to the city with this place with crops, really close to the airport too. I mean, this is not a forest at all, but still the birds are landing really close. This is another picture. Okay, so we created a network with the people of the community, including those regions where all the hunting is happening. And they start to talk about these and complain. What I've been noticed is that the people is kind of scared to talk about it because the people that is hunting is, well, their neighbors with guns and could be dangerous. So yeah, the people doesn't talk a lot about it. But in this network that we created on WhatsApp, the people start to complain, and someone from the network post something on Facebook, like saying, hey, I'm hearing the shouting, and you have to help us, and everybody. So everybody started to talk about it. So it was a really special and interesting process. At the beginning, nobody was listening to us, like the authorities or anything at all. But then after all this, this was the result. The army went to one of the counting sites, the hunting sites, and they found these 3 people. They did 3 captures that night, and they found these people with guns and 2 dead Swainson's hawk. So this is a really sad photo, but it's also really a positive thing because now the pressure of the community is doing that the authorities act and do something about it. And also because this is the first proof that we have of hunting, because there's a lot of people saying like, yeah, that used to happen before, not now. But here's the evidence that is currently happening. Okay, about the local education, well, we don't have the chance to go to all the schools we were thinking before, but we could went to 2 of them, and this was a really good experience too, because we work with the Ornithological Association of Tolima, that is called Anthocephala here. So they already have some programs of education with the kids, talking about migration. So we complement those programs with the materials of Hawk Mountain, and they also work with the materials of Selva, that is an organization that studies migration here in Colombia. And we had a really good result. The kids were really perceptive to the information. I did something really similar to name that raptor, the program from Hawk Mountain, but with the raptors of the area. So it was really fun, and yeah, it was amazing. It was really a sad thing that we couldn't continue. But the idea is to continue with this in the future when we can do it. Okay, about the ecotourism. This is a goal for a long term. Well, we already start with something, with a first step that is share information, like sharing social media with all the information about the count and saying like, please don't kill the raptors in different events. For example, I'm here talking about Hawk Mountain history with a group of people in the bird fair in Colombia, in universities, with talks and interviews, in radio, also in TV channels and the newspaper. I mean, everywhere we can. So I think we start very good with this first step. Let's see what is going to happen now. So all this is possible thanks to a lot of people and a lot of different organizations. First of all, Hawk Mountain, because what it was in this time as a trainee that I was able to create this project, and to Humana, that is the Hawk Migration Association of North America, where all the counting sites of America are registered and has their official count sites. And also Hacienda El Escobal, they're helping us a lot here. And also, especially to the people of the GoFundMe campaign. And thank you very much to all of them, also to the private donors. Thank you very much to all of you, all the institutions here in Colombia and also the international institutions. Thank you very much. And well, for the future, first we have to finish the count here. We're going to finish around the end of April, I hope. And we have to see how everything goes with this COVID emergency. So let's see. But the idea is to continue building links with national and international conservation organizations, and also start to do the fundraising for the next season that will be in the area of Urabá, as I already told you. What we want to do there is to explore different areas to see where can we report like the two different migration, because it's in this point that the migration of videos splits from the migration of turkey vultures. So it's a really interesting place to do the count. So let's see, that's the idea for the next season. So we are going to start almost right now with the grant applications and continue with the GoFundMe campaign, as you can see here in this QR code, and also this is the link. You can find this link in the top of the chat of this meeting. So yeah, that's the idea. Thank you so much for being here, for joining me. You don't know how happy I am to share all this information. There's a lot of histories and some, yeah, things to say about this, but we don't have all that time. If you have any questions, well, this is the moment. Or maybe if we cannot answer all the questions, we have here all our social media, Facebook, Instagram. Also, this is the name in the GoFundMe campaign, and this is my email. And yeah, that's it. Thank you very much to all of you.
Thank you, Esther. Esther, that was an amazing presentation. I think we all are so impressed with the very important work you are doing, not only for migrating raptors in Colombia, but for all the raptors utilizing the Eastern Flyway. So thank you. So Esther, you mentioned that you are working with a team of people on your project, and it's my understanding that you all have been living together as a family unit for several months, even before the coronavirus outbreak. And I hear that right now, as we speak, they are actually conducting the count. outside your balcony.
Yeah.
Is it possible that we could venture outside to
Oh,
meet?
yeah. Yes, sure. Let me show you. Okay. I don't know if you see something right now. Please tell me if you're seeing something.
Yeah, we can see that.
Hello? Oh, hi. Can you hear me?
Yes, and we were able to see the view from your campsite, so thank you for sharing that.
Oh, okay, yeah. So here we have Adelaida.
Hi, I'm Adelaida from Mexico. I work in the Veracruz River of Raptor, and I was going to be at Hog Mountain in this spring, and where the situation with COVID, and I just can say that I'm very happy to be here and being part of this project.
Thank you so much for your work.
Okay, and here we have Alfredo.
Hi, I am Alfredo Beltran. I am from Mexico. I worked for 12 seasons in the Veracruz River Raptor. I'm very happy for stay here in Colombia and Ibagué, Tolima, Conserving Raptors.
And here we have Irving.
Hola, yo soy Irving, vengo de México, bueno, de colaborar en el proyecto Veracruz Río de Rapaces por algunos años y bueno, estamos apoyando a los compañeros de acá de Colombia en este nuevo proyecto.
So he's Irving, he's also from Veracruz River of Raptors, and he already has 18 years of being counting Raptors with Veracruz River of Raptors, and he's also happy for being here. So yeah, here's the team.
Wonderful. Thank you so much. We really enjoyed getting to meet your team and getting a glimpse of your view from your count site. So Esther, we do have some questions from the audience that I'd like to ask you on behalf of our viewers.
Okay.
We have a question from Sandra, who is also a former Hawk Mountain Conservation Science Trainee from Peru. Sandra says, my understanding is that in Colombia, hunting is legally prohibited. Is this correct? What are the sanctions or consequences these hunters will face?
Sorry, I couldn't hear any because it's a little bad, the internet right now. Could you repeat, please?
So Sandra is asking, it is against the law to hunt hawks in Colombia. And she's asking if that's correct. And if so, what is the legal consequence that hunters receive?
Okay, so yeah, hello, Sandra. It is an illegal thing here in Colombia, but it has been really difficult to manage. It's in a really distant place, all the hunting. I mean, there's a lot of different places of hunting. So everything is really far from the city, so almost nobody goes there. But well, these 3 people captured, they went to the jail for, I don't know how many days, but after that start all the COVID emergency. So I think they just get out of the prison. They're also going to receive, I don't know the name of that English word. Like multa. Do you know the, Jamie?
Can you
Like
repeat?
a penalty fee.
A fine? They are getting fined.
Yeah, a penalty fee.
All right, thank you. So we have another question. Esther, will you be tagging any species to track where they migrate?
If I'm going to tag them?
Yes. To be able to
No.
track their movements?
Well, in this moment, we are just doing the count, but everything could be possible. Actually, I was talking with the counters and they were saying that they are really curious about the greyhawk because they have been seeing some greyhawks like with migratory behavior. So they were saying that could be really interesting to do some work with it. But we thought maybe in a kind of agreement, I don't know, maybe with Veracruz, Cash, if you can hear me right now. But yeah, we could do something about it. There's some people interested in learning how to open a trapping site here, but I don't know. We have to go slow and see how the things are going. Yeah.
Thank you. And we also have someone asking, saying, please post the donation links on your Facebook page. And I also want to just mention that before the session, I did post the link to Esther's GoFundMe page for this project at the very top of our chat feature. Lori, did you have any questions for Esther?
Gigi's saying send the link again.
Okay.
So Esther, can you talk about your peak flight day from this season? How many birds and what were the
Oh
big-
yeah, sure. Yeah, I'm going to show you. Actually, I'm going to share my screen again very quickly to show you something about it. Okay. So, can you see my screen right now?
Yeah.
Okay, so the biggest day was the March 15 with this number here, 64,892 birds. And yeah, this was in the middle of March. And the week where we could saw most birds were that same week of right in the middle of March for all the migratory species.
So I had another question, Esther. What other species are you seeing migrating? Because I know in Veracruz they get lots of water birds and other flocks of flycatchers and things. Have you had any other big flocks?
Okay, yeah, we already have 19 species of other migrants, as you can see here, different water birds, and also, yeah, like warblers and thrush. And also we are doing the count. We're doing a list on every day. So till the moment we have this number of species, 158 species for this area of Ibagué.
Well, that's great.
Esther, we have some more questions coming in from the audience.
Okay.
Do you have any plans for future scientific papers or publications?
Yeah, well, we already have an agreement with Humana. We're going to publish some data about this counting in their magazine. And yes, of course, there's all this data are new for the region. We didn't have a clue about it before, so I think it's really important to share this information in a scientific way.
Wonderful, and good luck. So we have a question from Devin, who was also a former Hawk Mountain Conservation Science Trainee all the way from India. Where and when do they shoot raptors? Is it on the roost site or during migration?
Okay, great question. It's not in the migration because this is an illegal activity here. So all the hunters are acting in the middle of the night. So they go to the to the roosting sites and in the middle of the night with lights, and they just shoot the raptors right there in the roosting site.
Thank you. We have another question. Do you have partnerships with the universities to have biology students for their research projects?
Well, actually, we have some connection with the Universidad de Ibagué. There was, that one was like the university that hosted us for the workshop. And some of the people trained in the counties are from the university, also from the University of Tolima. There are some of them that are interested in work with in their thesis for the university in that, but still we don't have like something really concrete with them.
Wonderful, thank you so much. And I would just like to add that if anyone in our audience has questions in the future that they didn't think of at the time of this presentation, you're more than welcome to contact Esther through her Facebook page for her project is an excellent way to do that. And of course, everyone has access to her email as well. Lori, did you want to share any comments?
Yes, absolutely. Thank you. And thank everybody for participating today. This is really exciting. Thank you, Esther, for all your work down there, and to all your co-counters there. Give them a big round of applause from us, because we're all with you in spirit, and wishing we were standing on that balcony watching the birds too. Yeah, I just wanted to say that this kind of project is very central to Hawk Mountain's mission of global raptor conservation. And one of our most abundant birds that we have here at Hawk Mountain as a migrant, but also as a nesting bird, is the broadwing hawk, which Esther has mentioned is one of our most numerous migrants through Colombia. And our own research on broadwing hawks using telemetry shows that most of our adult nesting birds, at least the ones we've tagged, have wintered either in Colombia or south of Colombia. So they're using this flyway that she's talking about twice a year to travel from breeding areas in our backyards all the way down to their wintering areas just south of where Esther is sitting today. So these conservation efforts on the ground are critical to our own backyard birds. And the other part of the research that's really important to keep in mind is that a lot of research has shown that migrant raptors are most vulnerable to loss on the migration. So once they get to the breeding grounds, they mostly will survive well. And once they get to the wintering grounds, they mostly survive well. But this period of migration is highly risky. There's lots of threats that have nothing to do with people, like weather and finding the right tree to sit in, finding food. But these other threats that Esther has detailed today just add on to other existing risks. So Hawk Mountain has been partnering with Veracruz River Raptors for decades, and we also have helped found watch sites in Costa Rica and Panama, and we're now working with Esther in whatever way we can to help support her efforts, whether it be through gathering donations or helping her write some grant proposals or connecting her with people. So we're very, very excited about this project. It is central to what our mission is, and we hope folks will consider supporting it in the future.
Thank you, Lori. And you mentioned Veracruz. And speaking of Veracruz, I have to share one more question because it is from Kashmir Wolf, who I believe is one of your colleagues, Esther, that you're familiar with from Veracruz. And the question is, what about tourism activities? Are some already planned?
Well, yeah, that was one of the ideas, but with all the crisis, we couldn't like work too much in that. Actually, we wanted to, well, a group of people was coming from Mexico, but they couldn't come because all the COVID crisis started. And but yeah, that's the idea, to start to after share all the information, talk about the site. It will be nice if the people also can come here and see this amazing migration here.
Wonderful, thank you. And a follow-up question, granting that the pandemic gives us a break soon, are you doing any workshops for the fall migration?
Sorry, I couldn't hear.
Do you have any workshops planned for the fall migration if the outbreak ends?
Well, we had a great number of people really interested in participating in our workshop. And we were talking about like a second workshop about Raptor ID and all the subjects we talked about before. But we couldn't continue with the idea because all the COVID, but if maybe everything gets better soon, we could. The idea is to open a second version of the workshop. Yeah.
That would be wonderful, and let's hope that happens. So I think that's all the time we have right now for questions. So Esther, Hawk Mountain wants to thank you so very much for all of your hard work, and to all of your team, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. It was such a pleasure getting to learn more about the important work you're doing. So thank you so much. And to all of
thanks to you.
Yeah, thank you. To all of our viewers, we're so glad you joined us. Thank you. And stay tuned. We have many more virtual programs coming your way soon. And just next week, we have on Wednesday, the 15th, Raptors Up Close, Hawks Online with our very own Ridgetop Rachel. Next Friday, the 17th, we have Learning the Language of Birds with Holly Merker. And next Sunday, the 19th, we have Horseshoe Crabs, Keystone to Shorebird Migration and Survival with Dave Grant. So thank you all so much. Have a wonderful day and stay well. Bye for now.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.